The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. It's one of these games where you walk around, you solve some puzzles, you tamper with crime scenes, and you try and hunt down a child. Fairly standard stuff. What's not standard about this game is it's got all this creepy, mysterious Lovecraft stuff put in there. And I love Lovecraft stuff, especially if it's things like, you know, Cthulhu and those other crazy boys. I'll get to talking about that stuff in just a few minutes, but first I want to say, I will be saying some light spoilers about the game. But to be fair, the game takes like between 2 and 4 hours to beat, so pretty much no matter how much you watch about this game, you're going to be spoiling some of it for yourself. So, you know, just keep that in mind. So, when you start the game, there's an intro. I'm not going to show the whole thing because it's kind of long, so I'll just summarize it like this. You're walking through a tunnel, you're monologuing about something. What you're basically saying is, I am a detective and I will now detect the Ethan Carter who's gone missing or something like that. And then the game starts. And boy, does this game start out in a bold fashion. You know, most games would have you, you know, walking around, taking in the scenery, and I mean, you can do that if you don't want to have, you know, a look around, but if you do look around, you get hit in the face with some jump scares, my god. Now, they are very light jump scares, you know, nothing that is really gonna scare anybody too much, but still, it's a bold way to start. Just look at this, I'm walking up to a tree and suddenly, wow, bejesus! Ah, crikey! Zoinks! Jinkies! No, hang on, I can think of another word. Jeepers! So, you know, it's nothing too hardcore. But once you've moved past that Goosebumps episode of a forest, you're onto this big bridge, and yeah, this is where I start to notice YouTube compression does not like this game one bit. There's way too many moving pieces, it creates weird artifacts, it makes it look all kind of fuzzy. And I'll say, this game, when you're playing it, looks fantastic. Video compression does not do this game any justice. Once you finish crossing the bridge and finished monologuing about something, you come across the first puzzle in the game. Now, most of the puzzles in the game are pretty similar to one another. Most of them are you finding a crime scene, getting a bunch of clues, and then finding out the order of events which led to the crime. That sort of stuff, you know, it's fairly straightforward, but they use some really cool mechanics. My favorite of which is probably this one, where you find, you know, there should be an item here, but the item is not here. Oh no, where is it? And then you have to line up the words and it points you in the direction of the item and it shows you a little picture. I just really like that. It's pretty cool, I've not seen anything like it. Although, with that mechanic, there's also the problem of, yeah, sometimes it shows you where the item is, and sometimes that's really helpful. And then sometimes, oh, yeah, thank you, the item is somewhere in the abyss. This first puzzle is probably my favorite one, not because it's, you know, the most interesting one to complete, but because what the narrative is showing warrants changing the name of this game from The Vanishing of Ethan Carter to Grandpa Rampage, because goddamn Grandpa's going on a mad one. No, Grandpa, put down the rock. Grandpa, stop it. Grandpa, get out of the train, he needs those legs. Damn it, Grandpa, look what you've done. Grandpa, he's already dying. Stop hitting him with the metal thing. Now, aside from Grandpa going crazy and killing people, this first puzzle also introduces us to the idea of this sleeper thing that people are talking about. And when I heard this, man, I got excited, because that just screams Cthulhu to me.
Grandpa? Stay away!
Ethan, I'm sick too. I can feel the sleeper in my head.
And throughout most of the other puzzles in the game, they keep mentioning this sleeper thing. So they're basically promising us Cthulhu at this point. But, yeah, I'll get to that later. Now's a good time to mention that throughout the entire game, you keep finding notes written by Ethan Carter. And they're not like regular notes, they're basically stories he's written. This game certainly feels at points like it was written by a child. Because, you know, you find the forest full of traps, and then you're driving a train, and then you're chasing an astronaut, and then you're picking up a pine cone, and the pine cone turns into a grenade. Why do I have a grenade? And then you're in space, and it just keeps going on like that. You just find weirder and weirder things, and it's great. I don't know what's going on half the time. It's fantastic. Just as a little side note, there's a little point in the game, in that first puzzle, where you have to go down to the shore, to where the water is. And I couldn't help but thinking, this looks exactly like a 2015 remake of The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. I mean, you got the same rocks, you got the same trees, you got the same water, you got the same general atmosphere. But anyway, once you've experienced the first puzzle and all the weird stuff that follows, you'll eventually come across a bridge, and on this bridge you can, well, if you stand in the right place, you can throw the grenade you picked up that you thought was a pine cone. You can throw that into the water. Like, at no point are you prompted to do this by any speech or anything. This is just something you can do. And I mean, here I was thinking that I'd picked up a grenade to, you know, use to kill something. Or, you know, blow something up. But no. Just chuck it in the water. That's fine. Let's move on. When you get to the end of the bridge, you'll notice a smaller house to your left and a bigger house on your right. Astronauts, god damn it, you did it again! But if you go up to the smaller house, the one on the left, prepare for one of the worst puzzles I've ever seen in a game. It's basically this trial and error thing where you have to try and build up a house you haven't seen before, using its individual rooms. Now, I say it's a house you haven't seen before, and I say the puzzle is terrible, but what I really mean is, I'm impatient and I'm bad at video games, because if you go to the bigger house, the one that's on the right, it turns out that that is the house you're rebuilding, inside the smaller one. It sounds confusing because it is, but if you just go and learn the layout of the big house, you can do the puzzle really easy. But instead, I just brute forced it, smashed through it like a madman. Oh, but wait, once you've rebuilt the big house and the smaller house, you see, on this little table right here, you see a couple of books. What's one of those books? H.P. Lovecraft. Cthulhu's a-comin', boys. He's a-comin'. It's around this time in the game that I started really noticing the kind of creepy atmosphere, like it was building up to something scary. But nothing happens. There's no big scares. Unless you go to the mine entrance with the locked gate, and you zoom in your camera, and just wait a few seconds. And then yeah, nothing happens. It's that kind of game. You keep expecting something to happen, nothing does. For now. So you stumble around a bit more, you solve some more puzzles, you get a bit more exposition, you see more of the world, everything's going great, and then you have to go into this place. Yeah, I don't want to go in that place, but we have to go in that place. So we go in that place, and then we're in the creepy caves. Creepy cave mine thing. It's great. There's big holes that lead to nothing, there's elevators that last a really long time. There's another train. God, this game really likes trains. Like, it's kind of weird. Most games don't have one drivable train, let alone two. This game's loco for locomotives. But when you're on the train, the second one, not the first, you'll eventually come across this little side passage in the mines, this nicely lit up place. And you know, at this point I wasn't expecting anything scary to happen, because I'd put like 2.5 hours into the game, nothing was going wrong, it was all kind of, you know, I felt safe in the game. So I went down these stairs, and then I kept going down the stairs. And I kept going down the stairs. The stairs last a really long time, but when you do get to the end, you're greeted with this little notice that says, basically, spooky stuff here, go away. So naturally you go in, because you're not expecting anything to happen. You wander around, you find some bodies, all fine, that's cool. And then you see this guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Yeah, they did it. They actually went... They actually decided to scare you. After building up for 2.5 hours, making sure you knew that nothing bad was gonna happen, nothing scary is going on, they do it. They scare you, they kill you with a jump scare. This... I'm so conflicted about this, because one, well done, astronauts. You juked me. You thought I was safe. But at the same time, guys, what are you doing? This is so different from the rest of the game. And now I have to do this weird survival horror thing where I go around picking up notes while this creepy guy tries to find me. I just don't understand. That being said, this entire section of the game where you're trying to hide from the guy and picking up notes is optional. You don't have to do it. But I would recommend doing it, because once you have done it, and once you've got all the notes and all the little symbols you need, you find this big gate. And you open up the gate. And there he is! There's the big Cthulhu boy! He's got the tentacles and everything! God, I was so excited when I saw this. And then you're outside, there's tentacles, there's water, you kind of wander around not knowing what's going on for a bit, but it's great, it's fine. Cthulhu's here. And then you wake up and you realize, oh no, Cthulhu wasn't there, it was just a dream. It was just another one of his little stories that he was telling. Now this is okay. This is okay. They may have ripped Cthulhu out of my hands, but there's still the promise of this sleeper thing people have been talking about. I'm still expecting the real Cthulhu to show up at some point. So you finish up in the mines, you go outside again. Yeah, you're safe. No more jump scares are coming your way. You do a few more puzzles, everything's great, everything's fine. And then you come across this dead diver with a gun. And then you pick up a gun, and now you have a gun. Why do I have a gun? First it was the grenade and then the gun, and then you piece it together in your head. When you threw that grenade into the water, you killed this diver who had a gun, which I don't know why he had a gun underwater, and then he went down the dam and washed up here. Oh well, you know, I'm not even gonna question it, this is fine. You get an achievement here called Unfinished Story. Yeah, this is certainly an unfinished story. But now you've got a gun, and when Cthulhu comes a-knocking, you'll be safe. Just don't even question it. A little while after you've done this, you'll come across the last area of the game. Now, if you want to stop here, because I'm going to be saying some pretty major spoilers, as in I'm going to be saying what happens at the end of the game here, feel free to leave and experience this for yourself. It's a fun game. It lasts, 2 to 4 hours, so pick it up on a sale if you want to. Otherwise, stick around, because I've got some things to say about this ending. Oh boy, I have some things to say. So you come across this big wide open water area, and for those of you who don't know, Cthulhu, mythical beast written by Lovecraft, he's a big fan of water. He goes into water, he sleeps. That's it. So when I came across this, I thought, okay, this is where he is. He's gonna come out, I'm gonna use the gun, I'm gonna try and shoot him, I'm gonna die, he's gonna drive me insane, it's gonna be fantastic. So then I just waited. Nothing happened. No Cthulhu. I waited a bit longer, still no Cthulhu. So I decided just to progress with the game. There's a puzzle behind me, I'll go and do that. Then I'll come back and see if Cthulhu's there. So I go and do the puzzle that's behind me. And then the game ends. The game ends with no Cthulhu. And do you know what the worst part is? The ending of the game tells you that it was all another story. All the stuff with the sleeper, all the stuff with the murders, it's all another story. None of it happened. There's no payoff. You see, I wouldn't be so angry at this if it was anything else than Cthulhu they had promised. If it was some fantasy thing, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool, the game's just, telling me about this power of storytelling, and, how the child's imagination is great. But no, child's imagination can get out of here. I wanted Cthulhu. And there's no Cthulhu at the end. The kid just dies in a fire. Yeah, sorry, I neglected to mention, the house he's in is on fire, and I think he just dies there. So, well done, the power of imagination couldn't save you from the flames, Ethan. God damn it. No Cthulhu. The guy you're playing isn't even real. Paul Prospero, the detective, he was another guy that Ethan made up. So yeah, great job, The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. That means Ethan Carter wrote a story about himself going missing. That's a bit grim, Ethan. Keep it light. Well, you can't really keep it light anymore, seeing as he died in a fire. And yeah, that's just the end of the game. You can now wander around in this weird fantasy world that doesn't exist. And yeah, you never get to use the gun either. This whole thing feels like a prank. I mean, it doesn't change the fact that I think the game's pretty good. I'd still say pick it up on a sale, even though you know what happens. The puzzles are kind of fun, the world's very nice to sort of walk around in. Don't know what else to say. Subscribe or something. Join me next time where I'll be talking about a different thing. End credits. Oh no, there's one more thing I need to say actually. I want to quickly talk about the reviews they decided to include on their store page on Steam. So here's the first one from GameSpot. A story told with a level of cleverness and elegance rarely seen in games. Grandpa, he's already dying. Stop hitting him with the metal thing. Here's one from Eurogamer. Leaves you with several amazing memories, moments that you will want to talk to your friends about for hours. Zoinks! And here's one from US Gamer. One of the best games of the year. Why do I have a grenade?